Hey guys, I'm back again finally with my my February March wrap up. And I must say I'm not happy at all with my reading this past 2 months. It's just been off. It's been totally wrong. And I really want to get back on the groove because I'm feeling, a bit sad about not being able to read the way I like. But what I'll do is I'm going to show you the books that I read in February and March. Then I'm going to show you all of the ones that I'm in the process of reading at the moment. Anyway, okay, so let's get started. The first one I read was Ladies Coupé. This is by Anita Nair, and this is a novel set in India, and the main character is called Akila, and I did a review on this here on YouTube, and I also did a blog post on it over on WordPress. Now, if you remember, this review was kind of lukewarm, and that's just because I felt that way about it when it was finished. I was very disappointed with the ending of this book. It felt like she had come full circle but didn't know what to do with the end of the story, and I hate that when that happens. But it does have some interesting moments, some surprising things, and it is considered to be one of the first feminist Indian novels. So yeah, so I read that first. I think I gave this 3 stars. Next, I picked up The Essential Gwendolyn Brooks. Now, Gwendolyn Brooks, I did a review on my blog about this, and I did a review over here on YouTube. And basically, Gwendolyn Brooks was a very talented African-American poet. She won the first Pulitzer Prize for poetry, and she was the first African-American to do that. I pity the fact that it doesn't seem to be taught that much in certain schools. In some schools it is. I think more now it is taught. When I was at school, it was not taught. I had always heard of Gwendolyn Brooks, but had never read any of her stuff. And the only poem that I really knew was We Real Cool. But this little gem really enlightened me on quite a few things about her. She wrote a lot about African-American culture, and the poems, they exude all of the culture and all of the things about African-American culture that she deemed as being important. And I think it's really an interesting look at that. And I will be linking below a link on the net where you can actually read some of these poems for free as well, if you can't afford to buy the book. All right, The Supremes at Earl's All You Can Eat. Now, this book, okay, The Supremes is written by Edward Kelsey Moore, and this is I think this is his first book. This book takes place over a span of time, so I think about 1950s till about today. The novel is not very long. It's about 407 pages, and I must say that I did enjoy this book. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. And the thing that I enjoyed the most about it is that it made me laugh out loud. The story is about 3 main characters. One of the main characters' names is Odette, and then we have Clarice, and then we have Barbara Jean. Now, when I was reading this book, what I found so interesting was his capability of getting into the mind of a woman. He did that so well, and for that I commend him. But as for the rest of the book, what I found a little annoying was that first person that shifted constantly. Most of the time I think it was Odette, but sometimes it shifted to the other characters during the story. Another thing that annoyed me was constantly flip-flopping from one event to the other. This made it seem more like a movie script and less like a book. Maybe I'm being a little bit too critical, but yeah, it kind of came off as that. Because as I was reading it, I was thinking, God, this would make a great movie. And then I kept saying, I can see Octavia Butler playing Odette. She would be a really good Odette. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not going to tell you not to read it. I'm going to tell you definitely to read it. It's 3.5 stars. That's a very good rating, you know, for a book for me. I would say pick it up if you want to have a good laugh. And some people might even cry. Alan over at Alan Janae told me she shed a tear at the end. I said, oh, bless you, Alan. But I didn't cry, but I felt a little sad. Although there are parts that are kind of predictable in the book. And so that, you know, that's like maybe not so good for some people that they can actually predict it. So that's all I have to say about this. Definitely a funny read though. Next was my favorite of the month. I guess you would say the month of March, because it was, by this time it was March, was Americanah. And I loved this book. Hallelujah, I love this book. And if you haven't gotten a chance to pick it up, I say definitely please pick this book up. It's so good. I love this hardback edition, and I hope one day I'll see Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie in real life and she'll sign it for me. But yeah, you know everything I thought about this book. You can look down below at the link for my blog post as well as for my review here on YouTube. And if you want to check out my Google Hangout that I did along with Token in America, Dominique, it's over on her channel, but I will link it below so you can watch it. It's a bit long. It's 4.5 hours. But we were passionate about this discussion. But if you can't watch it all at once, it's no problem. Watch it in 2-3 parts or something like that. I suggest that if you haven't read the book, do not go and watch the Google Hangout, because it is all spoilers. We did nothing but talk about the book. Okay, so that was my favorite, I think, of the month of March. I read was Saga. Yes, I jumped on the Saga bandwagon. I couldn't help myself. What can I say about this graphic novels? I just love them. I mean, I was very surprised by the creativity that is in the different aliens and the different beings and on these planets. That was very interesting to look at. I love the social commentary. I love this kind of like Romeo and Juliet thing going on. And I love Marco. You love me some Marco. Alana's cute too. She's a badass. Hazel's darling. She's cute as she can be. Yeah, I just love everything about this whole series. I like the way it's written. I even like the drawings, even though these are usually not the types of drawings that I usually go for. But just to give you an idea, by creative, you know, characters. You know, there's some creative characters. Here we go. But yeah, I really did enjoy graphic novel 1, and I loved volume 2 as well. And I can't wait till the 3 comes out here in France. I know it's out there in the US. I have no idea when it's going to come out here in France. Yeah, I guess I'll just have to wait, you know, and see what happens, unless I crack and get it in English. But I think I'm just going to wait and be patient and stay away from spoilers about book 3. So those are all the books that I read. Not a lot. Yeah, I think it's pretty light, frankly speaking. But anyway, it is what it is. What am I reading at the moment? At the moment, I am still reading Ghana Must Go. And I am on page 200, so I have this much left to read. I'm not going to say anything about it for the moment because I'm still mulling some things through with this one. All right, now the next ones are going to be pretty much, this is my famous TBR list. Now, as you remembered in February, I had started to read, yes, Giovanni's Room, and I was loving it. But I was not loving the font size, which was like this. I couldn't read. This was crossing my eyes and ruining my reading experience. So I popped out and got this one, which is the Penguin Modern Classic. And I like the font size a lot better. It's much easier to read. So as you can see, I just have this much to read to finish it. This is why it is not updated on my Goodreads account. It's just sitting there, and I haven't even updated it as I was reading along. I'm very bad at updating as I read along. I just, ain't nobody got time for that. But anyway, I'll try to be better at it. But I'm going to be finishing this one, and this is probably most likely the one that, I don't know, that'll get reviewed eventually before some of the other ones. So I still have this one to read. I still have this one, which is Crime and Punishment, which I will probably be reading the rest of the month, depending on how it goes. I'm not really sure. For the moment, I'm just, like I said, I'm at page 52 or something like that. We will see. You know, who knows? Maybe if I get some free moments and I start reading, I won't want to stop and I can read, you know, straight through. I don't know. We will see. So, but this must be finished this month. Next book I have to finish is The Gospel According to Caine, and that one I'm just like at page 35. So I have all of this to read. I had started to read this in February and I got distracted and pretty much just forgot about it, which sounds like a bad sign for, you know, the beginning of reading the book, but you know, hey, whatever. I'm gonna still read it anyway because I'm curious about this guy whose name is Corticia Newland. I'm not sure about that name. I need to research everything about that name, but this is a black guy from England, and he is Jamaican origin, I think it is. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this one this month as well. And last but not least, I will be reading The Hare with the Amber Eyes. So this one I think I showed you in a book haul. I think it was last year at some point, maybe like in November or December or something. This is my book club pick for the month of April, and I have to have this read not this Saturday, but I think it's next Saturday. So I really need to get on this one as well because, yeah, it's kind of long. 300 and something pages. 347 pages, something to that effect. So I will be checking this one out and reading it as well. That, as you can see, is a real TBR for once. Okay, that's a real TBR list for me, but that's okay. At least I know that this is what I'm going to be sticking with. Now, if I can read other things while I'm reading this, or eventually, depending on how fast I can finish, maybe have Ghana Must Go and James Baldwin, and maybe The Gospel According to Caine. If I can finish those three, you know, fairly quickly, then I can get started on something else, maybe a graphic novel or something, just so that I can make the month well-rounded. But that's pretty much all that I have for the moment that I can say is written in stone. Now, if there's any changes, I will come back on here and tell you, so you have an idea of what I'm reading and why I have disappeared forever and ever, amen. But hopefully I will be, you know, a bit better this month of April as I ease into this, you know, difficult working schedule that's gonna come. Yeah. So that's all I have for you today. For that is my February March reading wrap up. And so my biggies are, it's Americanah, is my big favorite novel of February. And my other favorite graphic novel is for the month of March is Saga. Those are my favorite books for the moment. So why don't you link below what your favorites of the month of March are and what you're reading at the moment. And if you've read any of the ones that I have on my TBR, why don't you just tell me if I'm going to have a good time or a bad time or what. And yes, have some discussion. Okay, bye-bye.